Welcome to Bubbles with Bethany. I am so excited that I've got a friend and favorite client and one of the smartest, kindest people I know. He's written a bunch of books. He's been an advisor to a bunch of tech companies. He has a company that helps active apartment investors learn how to apartment addicts learn how to do active investing. He has a fund active right now for people who are trying to do passive investing. This guy does it all, and he does it all with a drink in his hand a lot of the days. Jay Scott, cheers to you.
I promise you, I'm not a drunk. I only do it on webinars.
Only on webinars. I don't think anybody thought that. But cheers. Thank you so much for being here with me. I am super, super excited here. And if you don't have your bubbles ready, go get them and get them ready. We're gonna kick this off. I'm really excited because we've done this before, and I think, if I'm being fair, actually, the last time we did this, I think we just stayed on and drank for a while and in fact, I'm not going to take credit for it, but I do think you guys brewed up the idea of drunk real estate back one of the times when we drank sitting on here with Mauricio. Ashley was there.
Yeah, we have a big debate between Kyle, my co-host, and myself over who came up with the name. And I'm pretty sure we came up with it independently, and I may have come up with it thanks to you. Yeah.
I don't want to take credit for it. I was just around when it happened. So I'm excited. I love it. And it's such, if you guys have not checked out Drunk Real Estate, you definitely need to do that. We'll put everything when we repost this. We'll have the link. The link is also in the posts when you signed up, and probably in the email that you got too. So make sure that you go and subscribe. Is there a favorite place you like people to subscribe, or you don't care as long as they download it and subscribe?
For the podcast?
Yeah.
Anywhere, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever.
Wonderful. Yeah, you guys definitely want to do that. And you definitely, if you're not already, I'm sure you already are, but if you're not already following Jay and all the socials, do that, because there's all kinds of fun announcements with apartment addicts, and you have an active fund happening right now, right? If you want to talk about that before I get into the real questions, let's talk about your fund for a second.
I hope you know about that, because if you don't know about that,
I do.
I've done something wrong.
No, I for sure do.
Yeah, no, we have, I don't want to talk, I'm not here to pitch anything, so I don't want to talk about it, but I'll talk a little bit. I'll just mention, we have a fund, and it's basically a lower risk alternative to traditional funds and syndications, because we invest in a class of stock called preferred equity, which means the fund gets paid earlier. We get paid first before all the other investors in the deal. So because we get paid first after the lender, we are lower risk. So if the deal runs out of money, they'll run out of money most likely for the people that get paid after us, not us. So for anybody that might be looking for a passive, lower risk alternative to traditional funds and syndications, feel free to reach out to me.
So Jay, I talk a lot about, and I think everybody's been hearing this a lot about, identifying your lane, taking the steps to figure out what it is you're amazing at, what it is that lights you up, and what you really want to do. And I always say it's your lane, right? Whatever that is, your unique superpower. And you do so many things so well. How do you define, what would you say is your unique superpower that allows you to do that?
So I have two answers, and neither of them I take tremendous credit for, but one, I think I'm really good at learning. I'm very good at digging in and cutting through the BS and getting to the heart of the matter very quickly. I'm a big fan of the 80-20 rule. And a lot of people think I know so much about so many things. I would say I'm the 80-20 rule incarnate. I know like a good bit about a whole lot of things, but I tend not to, unless it's something I'm really passionate about, like economics or real estate. Most things I don't tend to dig in past that 80%. And so I prefer to learn a lot of different things. And then number two, and I guess this is kind of the real superpower and how I put that to use, is I used to be really ignorant, and I have a really good memory of those days when I was really ignorant. And for a lot of things, those days are still today, and I'm always learning and growing. But I'm really good at teaching people the things I know, because I remember pretty well how I felt and what I was thinking back when I didn't understand those things. And so I've noticed when I talk to a lot of people who are really intelligent on a subject, they don't necessarily do a good job of teaching it or explaining it because they can't really put themselves back in that situation, back in that time when they didn't understand that topic. And so they kind of talk over everybody's heads. I like to say that I'm really good at being down on everybody else's level because I am. I'm no smarter than anybody else. I just happen to know some more facts. And so, yeah, I'd say my biggest superpower, that was a really, really long way of saying I'm really good at teaching people complex topics in ways that they understand.
Which is amazing. That probably comes in really handy in parenting as well, I would imagine, right?
My kids are now smarter than I am, so maybe not.
That means you're doing your job, right? That means you've done your job.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Well, and this really comes in handy too, because you teach up and coming active apartment investors. I don't want to say syndicators. I don't know if they're all syndicators, but people learning how to invest in apartments actively. That's hard stuff, right? If you've not done it. And so tell me about, you've got a process there. And I swear I'm not trying to bait you into pitching. I just really want to hear about how you distill such a complex, big, huge topic down for people who are just getting into apartment investing.
Yeah, and I think there's two pieces there. Number one is all the theory. And there's a lot of theory when it comes to apartment investing. And we kind of break things up into any real estate deal involves three pieces. You have to be able to find the deal. You need to be able to fund the deal. And then you need, most importantly, although a lot of people don't recognize that this is the most important piece, but most importantly, you need to be able to operate that deal efficiently. And so when we teach apartment investing or any type of real estate, we kind of focus on those three pieces. And we often focus on those pieces separately because each of them requires a different set of skills and expertise. And we start with the theory. And we start with things like, very important, the law, compliance, and doing things legally. We start with just basically high level, what are your goals and what are you trying to achieve? And explaining how syndication, which is what we do focus on, how that's accomplished. And then we quickly, because we're actually in the business, we don't just teach it, we actually own real estate. We own a lot of real estate. We quickly jump into case studies. And so instead of focusing all of our time on the theory, we like to jump really into what's going on in the world today and how we're dealing with that. And we use our own properties as case studies to do that. Our students have access to all of the tools we use in our business. They have access to all the vendors we use in our business. They have access to everything we use in our business because we want them to really be hands-on and not just stuck in the theory and thinking about it.
Which is great. So really practical advice on top of just, I think that's fantastic because I think that's probably the easiest way to, well, it actually touches on all the ways to learn, right? You're seeing it, you're hearing it, you're doing it, all the ways that people learn, which is helpful. And it's
here's the other thing about learning. Everybody learns differently. I'm a very visual person. Some people are more auditory. Some people like to actually get hands-on. Some people like to read books. And not everybody teaches everything the same way. And so what I would tell anybody is who the best teacher isn't always obvious. Who the best teacher is going to be different for you than it is for me, because somebody else who teaches in a style or in a way that I'm best at learning or most efficient at learning is going to be a better teacher for me than that person for you if you have a different learning style. So anybody out there that wants to learn, whether it's real estate or any topic, I find it so important to really interview people that you might pay to teach you, or if you're just going out and finding content that's free, find those people that teach in a way that most resonates with how you learn.
Which is great. Just being aware of that, I think, is important. I don't even know if everybody knows, right? They just are like, this is what's out there. I guess I'll just listen to it, instead of watch it or whatever. And so I think it's really good, just like defining your lane or your superpower to determine how it is you do learn the best, and just having some sort of self-awareness about it.
Yeah.
Which is good that you guys recognize, and you guys offer it in all different ways, which I think is amazing. And your team, you have a team that's different too. I mean, you're very different than the rest of your team, I think, which really must provide a lot of, I guess, layered and depth to the learning that your students get.
Yeah, we have an amazing team, and I'm definitely different than most of the people on my team because I'm a man. And I think pretty much everybody in my company is female, which is great. I'm terrified every day I go into work, but it's okay. No, our team is absolutely fantastic. My partner, her name's Ashley Wilson. She founded the company about 6 years ago, and absolutely brilliant as an asset manager. I mean, she's brilliant in a lot of things, but I mean, her superpower is operating deals and figuring out how to take a property that may not be performing efficiently or optimally, and getting it performing efficiently and optimally. And that's her superpower. And we have other people on the team, and everybody on the team, that's kind of the key, is everybody on the team is absolutely the best at what they do. None of us are great at everything, and we can all admit that. But we're all great at what we do. And we've gotten really good at staying in our own lane. And I'm that's the way most well-run businesses are run. But I've noticed a lot of people in this industry who either try and do everything themselves, which is really hard because none of us is great at everything, or they surround themselves with other people who are exactly like them. And I use this as an example of the biggest mistake I see in partnerships is oftentimes when we're new and we're going after that partner for the first time, what we look for somebody exactly like we are, because we think, okay, well, we're similar. We have the same background. We have the same experience. We have the same education. We have the same knowledge. We have the same goals. And the reality is finding somebody that's exactly like you are as a partner basically means, yeah, your strengths are magnified by 2, but your weaknesses are as well. And so I'm a big fan of partnership should be finding somebody obviously with the same ethical, moral, and financial goals. But in terms of skill set and knowledge and education and experience, I want people that are completely different than me.
Agreed. I think that's the smartest way to go about it. I mean, obviously you're right. You have to have the same values, the same ethos, the same goals, and you're all rowing in the same direction. But it's, the cool part about this is you actually have to work a lot less hard if you have someone who does that other stuff that you either hate or you suck at or whatever. But as the lawyer, I'm here to tell you it's also safer legally. So not only does it feel good, it's good for you, right? So I mean, it's kind of in that situation, it's like finally that happens. What's good for you also feels good.
Work is so much easier when you can trust the people you're working with, and you don't have to second guess them. You don't have to question them. You don't have to wonder if they're doing the right thing. And so find people that not magnify, find people that complement your strengths with their own, so that you have a well-rounded team.
And I talk a lot about conscious wealth. And the thing I've learned as I talk about it is people are like, well, what the hell does that mean? And the answer is that it means something different for just about everybody. And so somebody once asked me, like, well, what do you guys talk about on Bubbles with Bethany? What should I expect? And the truth is, I'm like, well, I asked these 2 questions, and it's always the exact same 2 questions, but it's always a very different conversation after that, because everybody has a different definition, or at least some variation of their definition of what conscious wealth means to them. And I'm always very curious to know. So Jay, what does conscious wealth mean to you?
Yeah, it's changed over the years. In fact, I probably didn't have a definition years ago, but I'm old. I'm in my early 50s, so compared to a lot of people, not old, but compared to a lot of people in this industry, we deal with a lot of younger people in real estate. We deal with a lot of people who are younger in the entrepreneur world. And I know when I was younger, my ultimate quest was for money. I wanted money. I didn't know why I wanted money, but I wanted money, and I wanted a lot of it. I wanted as much as I could get because I assumed that money would get me everything I ever wanted. As I've gotten older, what I've recognized is, money's important. Money for security, to some degree happiness. It's really important. But I've also recognized that money for money's sake is meaningless. And I've noticed there are a lot of people that I still work with who are around my age, even older than I am, who they still have this attitude that they just want money because more money is better than less money. And I'm not judging that's fine. But for me, what I've recognized is instead of being controlled by money, I now like to harness the power of money to amplify the other parts of my life that really are important. And so what are those things that are really important? I mean, everybody says this, but it's really true for me and my family. My wife and I have been together for 15 years. We were in the tech world. We both worked in Silicon Valley for our whole careers. We were both making a lot of money. She was early at eBay. I was at Microsoft for a decade. And in 2008, when we decided to get married, we were in our mid 30s. And it would have been really easy to say, hey, let's keep working and doing what we're doing and make a ton of money. But we recognized that we wanted to have a family, and we knew that working 80 hours a week and traveling 3 weeks a month, as we both were doing, just wasn't conducive to raising a family for us, for what we wanted. And we didn't even have the conversation about, okay, are you going to quit or am I going to quit? It was easy. Literally the day after we got engaged, we had a 5-minute discussion where we said, okay, we're both going to quit our jobs because neither of us should be working like this if we're going to start a family. And so 6 months later, we quit our jobs, we moved across the country, and we didn't know we were going to end up in real estate at that point, but we fell into real estate, and it's given us the lifestyle that we really wanted. So family is super important to me. Being able to give back. And again, this is something that when I was younger, didn't think much about. And as you get older, I think for a lot of us, we recognize that, especially if we're fortunate and we have enough money that we can pay our own bills, and we know that we can send our kids to college, and we don't really have to stress over money anymore. We start to recognize there are a lot of people who aren't as fortunate as we are. And so for me, a lot of why I keep doing what I'm doing and I keep pushing as hard as I do is that some of it's selfish. I want to change my little piece of the world. I mean, there's some selfishness when you want to change the world, but at the same time, I want to change the world for other people's benefit as well. And then third, I love the challenge. And whether it's starting a business, I've started businesses before. I sit on boards of some tech companies. I've obviously done the real estate thing. For me, making money is a game. I used to love playing Monopoly, and this is just a real life version of it. And so for me, no matter how much money I have, there's just something that I love about trying to make more of it, even if I don't need it, even if I'm giving it away, whatever. I love the challenge in the game.
I love that so much, gamifying making money. No wonder you're such a good teacher, right? Teachers make either songs or games out of everything they want us to learn well, right? So no wonder that you're so good at that.